Shir sponsor Lui Nishmas Rabbi Yaakov Shalom Nabas Yitzchok. We are holding Bava Daf Kuvov. I want to welcome anybody who's joining us from Torah anytime. If you want to spread Torah, just press on the share button and share the share with other people. We're going to be starting the Kufiyam with base in the bottom. Before we go into where we start, we got to the two dots. Really, two dots in the middle of the sukkah. These two dots seem to be a mistake. It shouldn't be a two dots over here. So we're going to go back a few lines and then we'll skip a few lines and come back to where we are. We learned someone denied a pikadon that he has in his hands. Naisal of Gazan Chayboinsi becomes a Gazan Nais Chayboinsi. Meaning, someone is holding on to a collateral pikadon in his hand, and he's a shomer. So a shomer, let's say a shomer chino, is patur from oinus. Once he denies it, he becomes he's chayav in the oinsi. The Gemara yesterday wanted to say maybe that's only when he does a shua. That's a Gemara's doich. Maybe only once he does a shua. But now when he just denied it. But the Rav Shesh's svara is that once you deny it, it's over. It says the Gemara, now we're skipping the two dots. Meisi Rav Chacham asks a question. What does it mean? We have a rule that when you have somebody, usually, who does the shua? The one who's taking out the money. Right? That's the klal. Call him nishboim v'noitli. So Reuven comes to Shimon. He tells Reuven to Shimon, you owe me money. Shimon says, no, I don't. Who does the shua? Reuven does the shua. Because Reuven is trying to take money out of Shimon. So, if Shimon is unreliable, is chashal shua, then we're going to turn, if Reuven is not reliable, we can't rely on his shua, so then the shua will be on Shimon. We turn it around. Keitzat, and the word says, what's the example? Echad shua seidus, ve'echad shua sapikodim. Doesn't matter, talk about shua of edus to the person that I want to do edus. Or shua sapikodim, that a person did not want and give a pikodim. Ve'afilu shua shav, or shua shav. What's the difference between a shua shek, a shua shav? Rashi brings the shua shav as someone who is ra la Hashem and ad labir. He's not causing anybody to lose money. He's just saying something which is wrong, and he's doing shua on it. That's the example is brought down over there. So if you hold that once a person denies something, he automatically becomes responsible for it. Why are you telling me that once he did a shua, he became pasul? Once he did a shua, he became a gazlan, even before the shua. Once he denied the money, he became a gazlan. Hamir says, well, you're right. You know when someone denies money is chayav? When the denial is mamish, almost called lachis. What does it mean lachis? Person has the money, has the pikadon in his hand. And yes, he has the pikadon. Comes to him, somebody says, where's my pikadon? And he says, I don't have it. And he's lying, he does have it. All he needs to do is take his hand into his pocket and pay it back. But he doesn't want to do it. Then he becomes a gaza. But if the thing is not under his hand, let's see bagom. What's bagom? It means it's going around, it's grazing in the valley. He doesn't have it right now. The guy goes to him and says, where's the animal? He says, I don't have it. But he doesn't have it. It's right now, it's on the house. So what's the svaro? He says, I'm going to try to get away from him until I go and get it. That's the case. We don't assume he's a gaza. Someone who is koifer b'milveh, he says, I've never took a loan. He is kosher leidus. Why? It's not that he's a liar. He's not a liar. So why is he not paying the money? He doesn't have the money right now. So Reuven goes to Shimon and says, you owe me $500. He says, no, I don't. You don't make him a liar. Why? Maybe he does know he owes the money, but he doesn't have any money to pay. He's embarrassed to say, I don't have what to say, so he just denies it. But if the person goes and says, oh, you're holding right now to my watch. He says, no, I'm not. Then he's postulated. Then he becomes a Russia. Then that means he's not really a Nema. So that's a raya. That's something which is not under a person's hand. He's more lenient to deny it. So it says, a person who does a shua, he's koinet, and now he's responsible for it. Shua the kanav because the shua. Avakfir or loikanav, if he just denies the money nor. No, again, I'm talking the same idea. It's right now in the valley.
No, he can't go to a wedding every night. No, he said he left a message to your wife last night.
Yeah, wedding.
So says the Gemara. Says the Gemara, "V'bais imo, If I say more, my shvua koino kedavuno tova mauno marav. What is shvua koino that we talk about over here? So Ravuna said, "Don't Ravuna marav moni li biyotcho v'ala imer en lecha biyodi v'nishva v'chag boedim potu." So a person says, "You have money by, and I have money by you," and he says, "No, I don't." He goes to shvua, and then Eidim came. He's potu. Why is he potu? The owner will take what? Will take a shua. The guy won't pay. Once the buyer takes shua, they don't shalom. I mean, Ravuna is telling us this, and this is what we need to focus on right now. That's what the Gemara is going to focus today. Really, we should have got to here yesterday. Now we stopped at 2,000 because we ran out of time, but really we should got to here. What is it? That's the Gemara concludes with previous sugya. Gemara says, what does it mean to be shua yekaini? Not to be shvua, you become a Gaza, and now when you deny. When you deny, you also become a Gaza. But when you do a shvua, you're koine. Why? How are you koine b'shvua? You're koine b'shvua, that means that even if Eidim come and say that you're a liar, you don't pay. What does it mean? Reuben comes to Shimon, it says, Shimon, you owe me money. If Eidim come and say he does, he has to pay. But if he said, you know what, I'll do a shvua for you. I'll nish, but I don't owe you money. He says, okay. Once he did a shvua, that was his payment. So to speak, the shvua is in lieu of payment. Now you can't ask me for money anymore. That's what the Torah is to be chadish. That's what Ravuna said. And now the Gemara is going to focus. If I gave you a shvua, you can't ask for my money anymore, even though I found it to be lying.
Even if they can come in and say that
you owe the money. Once they took a shvua from me, I'm out of the story. The Torah doesn't give me a svar. The Torah just gives me exas kasu. The problem idea is that what he owes now to Shemaim is much more than his money. When a person falsely lied with a shul.
How does that help the other guy?
Doesn't help. Because we will take care of the other guy. There are different people that are different shluchim l'makom to send money. Curly in the tivot, curly in this, that curly here. Money comes. Shmuel takes care of it, right? Through shluchim ne'em money. Says the Gemara, Gufa. The Gemara goes back to focus on this point. Money will be out money by your hand, by loy man.
Why does the Reuben says to Shimon you owe me money? Why does Shimon swear? Why not Reuben?
When you have a shvua?
Why is it not?
No, shvua is a pikoda by shomer. Shomer, it's a shomer. Talk about shomer specifically. Yeah. Somebody else says you owe me money. No, you don't have anything. Finish by the shua. Ubo edim potu. Shneimar. Once the owner takes a shua, then they have to pay. That's what we just saw. Once he accepts the shua, there's no more. That's not called by milve. Right, we're talking about milve the what? That no, I'm sorry, I said something wrong before. Not shomer, even without a shomer. Any loan that a person says you owe me money, he has to do a shua. The shua is always the guy who has to pay back. So what it says, talk about a loan that's supposed to be spent. It's considered to be in the owner's rishus. Meaning, Reuben comes to Shimon, says you owe me money. So Shimon says that's not true. There's a shvua. Reuben cannot come to extract the money again. But if Reuben comes to Shimon and says you have my item by you, and Shimon says no I don't, comes to him and says you do, you have to give it back. The shvua said it's in Pikodin. The pasuk that we mentioned before is Pikodin. As we mentioned, Shomer. He also have Nachman called Malash Schweitzer. Nachman just quoted that Schweitzer. Nachman asked a question. Hey, Chabigdoini. He says, where's Rabbi Kodin? Omalei, Ovat. He got lost. Mashbi Achani, give us a shvur. Omar Omi. He says, yeah, do a shvur. Eidim said, no, he didn't get lost. He damaged it. Mishalim is a Karen, has to pay back. So if he did it on his own, so what do you see over here? Even though he did a shvur, he still has to pay. You said that shvur is in lieu of payment. No, he did a shvur, has to pay. So what says, you know what I'm talking about? He didn't do shvur in basing. He did shvur outside of basing. He did shvur, which was not an official shvur. Says the Gemara, Amar Leif, so, look at the next part. Where's my Pekod and Kadlos? I did a shul. Okay, I'm doing a shul. Hey, the Mary so Shiganovoy. They didn't say that he stole it. Mishad is to be careful. It has to be double. As we learned, when someone says that something was stolen, a shamer who says that it was stolen, he has to be double. He had been on his own. Mishad carrying the Chayshua Shal. He has to be a full amount. He's sick at night. If it's outside of Basin, Mika Kefil. There's no kefil outside Basin. The only ones can be chav someone kefil, which is a kras, is only Basin. I could have answered you ratio to Basin, civil Basin. I could have said that really the price is divine to do. The top that says that you don't pay is out of Basin, and that you pay is out of Basin. The bottom that says kefil is in Basin. Hi, Rashi right away asks, if it's in Basin, why are you paying it all? Why are you paying? Well, you said once you have a shul, you don't pay. So Rashi says the Gemara is relying on what we're going to say later in the daf. So he says by Ganov we knew that you pay. Why? Because we knew there's such a concept called Toyin Taras Ganov. What's a Toyin Taras Ganov? A Toyin Taras Ganov means someone who is a shomer and he says it got stolen. It's called Toyin Taras Ganov. So Toyin Taras Ganov, the Torah tells you pay. So therefore, the Gemara didn't have a problem by Ganov when he says it was stolen that he does pay. Even after shul. They want to give you a shver answer. They're not such a good answer. It is basic. It depends what happens. If the guy says, you owe me money, I don't. He'll do a shul? Yes, I swear. He did it on his own. He himself jumped up and said, I'll swear. Then the din is that he still pays afterwards. When the Torah says you don't pay, is if he said, I'm not paying. So Beis Din said, if you're not going to pay, you must do a shvuah. So then the din is, he has to do a shvuah. They did have to pay, sorry. So Nachman came to explain Rav. So very, very interesting, very strange. Mechani asks him, I don't understand. You disagree with Rav. So why are you coming to protect Rav? I'm going to explain what Rav would say. What was the question? What was the answer? So we will expand upon this in the Shur Machshav on the Daf. But just to mention that the Yad Malachi says that when a person goes to explain something on behalf of somebody else, it says, Omar Nachman alibe de Rav. Should have said the word alibe. According to him. He didn't say alibe de Rav. I'm not sure if Nachman agrees. He said, but I know you disagree. So he answers back, he said, I disagree, but I still go to explain the Pshat. The Yad Malach wants me to arrive from here, the source that we see many times in Chas, that one Amoyer can explain another Amoyer even though he disagrees with him. Same more about Rav, why disagree with Rav? Rav brought a pasuk. Amri Kol, there's no Pshat in the pasuk. Every time a person does a shul, is not to pay. Meaning, if Reuven comes to Shimon, says, you owe me money. Shimon says, I don't. Who does the shul? I said before wrong. I'm correcting what we said at the beginning of the year. Who's the one who pays? Who does the shul? Shimon, the one who's holding on to the money. You always do a shul to keep the money, not to extract the money. Right? Says the Gemara, so how do I know that you just do shul and you don't pay? It says the Bayim will take the shvur and then you won't pay. The Torah is teaching you who's the one supposed to do the shvur? The one who's supposed to pay. So the Muhammad I'm going to ask another question. He made him do a shvur 5 times. Again, and again, and again. The kafar every time he denied it, or kafar even after all of them. Chav kolach zachas. It's chav in each one. Why? Because each one, you still owe money. So he did a shvuah. He still owes money. He did a shvuah again. He still owes money. So you see, even after the shvuah, you still owe money. You don't say that the shvuah exempts you for paying. How much he does because he could go into the mint. Because it says it says that he was mashma. He forced him to do a shvuah. So he didn't jump on his own. He gets it was out of basing before basing. Then it says in front of basing. So the churah, why do you pay? You did a shvuah. In fact, we asked the question, he answered, you're right. You have to say it, you have to read it differently. Hishbiya alav chutz beis din ubi beis din kofatz. Meaning, two options. Either Hishbiya chutz beis din, or beis din he wasn't mishbiya alav, he did it on his own. But to read the sentence the way it says right now, the Hishbiya alav beis din have doesn't work. Meisir Rav asked the question. Baal Bayis shetoan tainus gono bibikodim. The Baal Bayis came and said that it's got to be bibikodim. V'nishba v'oido. And he did a shvuah and he was moide. Right? So, Baal Bayis means he's holding on to the bibikodim. He says God stole it. Then he did a shvuah and he admitted. Uvoidim, then kamedim. Even though he does on his own, so he pays the principal, he pays the 25%, he pays he's a korban. He pays only double an asham. I mean double includes the chimish, that's enough. It can't be there was out of basing, whether he jumped, can't look at it, says he pays double. So you see it was a basing. So you just said that once you do a shvur, you're exempt for all money, you see you're clear now like that. Hello, my Rava. So Rava says no. You have to correct it. Hello, my Rava. Kol oido loy shno toiteres ovad lishno teres ganov loy amarav. The person admits, of course he pays. When a person admits on his own, he has to pay. He wants to pay. He wants to come and take care and rectify what he did wrong. If Eidim came, Nami lo amarav. It says clearly, like I mentioned before, that a person who is a shamer and he says it was stolen, he has to pay double. Rav spoke only about one case. Person says, where's my picadon? He says it got lost, and I got stolen. Because got lost, that got stolen would be different. Got lost, and Eidim came and said that what? That he did it, he didn't admit on his own. Then you don't pay. Because he did give a shvur. Also, if God told me Shmaitz Kavid Avasha, if God came from Avasha to say that it was all shvur, only has to Mara of Nuno. Tell me that the Rav. Rav Nuno is the one who asked the question of Rav. He was a top of the Rav. You know the Rav spoke about admitting. You come and say, Rav did not speak about oidos. Why is Rav Nuno asking the question? Elamar, Rav Nuno knew the Rav did say oido. Says the Gemara, Rav Nuno had the following question. No, Rav Nuno knew that B'moideh Rav agrees that you pay money, even though you did a shul. So Rav agrees, what is Rav Nuno asking? Rav Nuno is bringing a question regarding a person who does a shul is waiting. So for 5 times. Says the Gemara like this. Tell me that what? That Nishba, that we talk about Shvur, he also ate in Mechayev. And he still, when you ate in Mechayev, how can Mechayevin on the korban of Shvur B'Srais? That's why to give a korban. Maybe a Cholach Zoy B'Loidos. Meaning, when a person comes and says, he denies something, and he goes and admits it. Or if Eidim come, he's Chayev, so then you give him korban Shvur. Why? Because he can come in white. But if when Eidim come, you potter. If Eidim will come and say this chayav, it will be potter. Right? How should I be a loid? Meaning, how do we chayav in korban shvur? How do we chayav in korban shvur? We want to do korban shvur. So, now, how does it work? Just to go back to what we said before. You're not going to have multiple shvurs. The thing is, you cannot have multiple shvurs on the same thing. So how do you have multiple shvurs? Nishba again and again? That's just very simple. He does a shvur. Then he admits. He has to pay. Then he can do a shvur again. He can admit. He can do a shvur again. He can admit. He has the ability to pay it back in between. So that's why the second shvur is chal. Because he could admit, he could do the second shvur. So if you tell me, regardless of how I find out how this guy stole it, either I found out because he admitted, or I found out because Eidim can, you always have to pay. So I say, listen, that's why I mechayev him on the last shvur, because he could have admitted, he could have been mechayev. But if you tell me that if Eidim come, he doesn't have to pay. And only if he has to pay, so how can he come and tell him to do a Korban Shvuah when maybe he would never admit? You can't take it out the Eidim. As Rashi says, "Ashtabi lo'edim bein zu zu yishterek dekfiyas dvorim be'almu." K'lam moinu gabei shayin yuchol to Eidim. You can be moide, be right. I didn't moide. So how can you come and tell me that you have your edus between one shul and the next shul? I have your money to be chayav. You don't have money. You can't extract with Eidim. And a mom, maybe he's going to moide, but he wasn't moide. According to you, Rav, that the only way for someone to pay after shul is only by Yodah. There's no reason to say that he's B'chayav. Because if you do it by Yodah, right now he was not Moedeh, and Eidim won't work. So that was Rav Nuna's question. That's what Rav Nuna pointed out. According to Rav, that says that once you add a shvur, you don't pay money. So how can it be you have multiple shvurs? There's no money over here. Okay. Says the Gemara, Omar Rabbi Acho Ba'abo Omar B'Yechon. Hatoyin Tan is Gari Rabbi Kodon. Someone says that Rabbi Kodon was stolen from him. Mishat, by the way, all these Gemara is very hard to understand. Why is it here? I mean, they're brought one after each other, different shvuas. They're going shvur, but it really doesn't belong over here. But one says, this we saw early in the Masech. He pays double because he's considered to be a Ganov. So then, if he does double Machar, why? How do we know that? Person who actually stole pays double. A person who claimed that someone stole from him, a shameless claim that someone stole from him, pays kefil. A God who pays kefil. If he did tfichu mechir, pays dalvei. After it is gano, because when a person says that was stolen from me, he pays double. You learn one from each other. You learn, as the Gemara said earlier in the Masechta, you learn Torah is gano from God. Says the Gemara, 1 second. How can you learn Torah is gano from Gano? Torah is gano is only b'shvuah. God is without a shul. Amrei keshu, Yeshiva l'ala keshu. Yeah, the same pasuk spoke about Ganov and Torah das Ganov, and that's how you learn one to each other. So that's if you want to say the same pasuk speak about both. You learn but according to what we learned earlier, right? We learned that in Daf Sefach Gimel. If you understand that the pasuk is now talking about a Ganov and Torah das Ganov. The both Torah das Ganov. Where do we have a Hekesh? Michael Meimar says, Ami Ganov, Ha Ganov. It says an extra hey. There you learn the thing of a Ganov. You learn basically to learn Torah das Ganov from Ganov. Hey, so a person goes to the shred and says, where's my ox? Negative got lost. Do a shvur. I mean, and you come and say that he ate it. Torah das Ganov. 1 second. If he ate it, that means what did he do? He shecht it. The Imashi pays only double, not dalvei. You say pay dalvei. So he ate nevelo, meaning he did not shecht it. So the animal just died on its own. Why do you say they ate treifo? Meaning there was a sick animal. It's a sick animal, but he did shchito. So then it's still considered to be shchita yichai dalvei. When we talk about it, there's no shchita, the animal died, so therefore there's no dalvei. Why do you say it's a ben pkur? Why there's a ben pkur? There's a shita in the Gemara that if you shech an animal and there's a baby in it, that baby doesn't need shchita. Can you eat it as is? No, sorry, no ben pkur don't shchita. Could the man that says that even an animal that you find in the womb, you do have to do shchita. Why do you say that we're talking about a case? You went to Beis Din. Beis Din said you have to pay, and they said in the Losha Tzetela. So we saw this also early in the Masechta. Tzetela is a meaning of order. Pay immediately. Extract the money right away. The Amarava Tzetela person says if the Beis Din say go pay him, you put for now on because that's considered to be as if the Ganav already took it. And if he doesn't pay back, it's considered to be the Nignav took it. It's considered to be a Gazla. Because now that it's clear to everybody they owes it, it's considered to be a Gazla. The Geneva ended. My dam, I want to come the Paskilim will say, once Bezi Paskin, You don't pay that. That's if they said settle. When you right away pay immediately. They just said they gave him a star IOU. It was not really you could pay right away. They said whenever you have the money you pay it. So then until they didn't end the thing and say you chayav, because the guy who the gneva did not end. So why don't you say this answer? You're asking how's the shaykh is the pidal day. That's what it is, because we talk about the basic set tanoi for school and meals, so you don't pay down day. Why don't you say you talk about a partner? As we learned earlier in the sector, when a partner is shecht, you're not chayav because it's chamisha chatzei bakar. Or a different reason. Well, you're right. You could have given other answers. I gave one answer. I gave one explanation. The one explanation is we're talking about there was an available. We really could have given other answers. So again, what do you just learn right now? The Gemara said that a toyin that is got a shem is chayav on what? Is chayav on Talvei. More about a raya the chuy. Not going to Talvei. So when we talk about a case, there was no shechita. Continues the person who does the time meaning he got lost. We talk about not a shame. We're talking about someone who found an avedo. It's a nice guy. He found a watch on the street. Comes the guy there and says, "Where's my watch?" So, oh, it got stolen. The din is he has to pay double. My time is the call avedo shirama. That's part of the pasuk. It refers to all the big diners. Is here Rabbi Abba Banerla Bichir Barabba is going to ask a question. Person who gave somebody else to keep, and then he did a shvur, he has to pay him. You know that's when you have the holding of shemir. But you learn from here, kitenish ain't a sinas kotaklum has to be dafkanish and not a child. Painly should also take a shukota v'tok shukota. That's dafka if he gave it as a shemir when he's a kota, and then he came to ask for it when he's a kota. Well, that's a shukota v'tok shukota. But if he gave it to him when he's a child, and then he came to ask for the money when he became an adult. Minayah, we know. It says this din will come in front of a Beis Din. It needs to be that you have the giving and the extracting both come ahead from in the same age. In other words, it should be an adult. Why are you saying that? If he's an adult, he can't take it. Forget about the fact that he gave it to him as a child. But right now, it's in his hand. It's the same thing as someone finding an Aveda. Right, TB? You go in the street and you find an Aveda. Nobody gave it to me. So here, the child gave it to this person. Now he became an adult. So it's like Aveda. Says the one talk about that when he ate it as a cotton, he really destroyed it. He gave it to him as when the owner was a cotton. The cotton gave it to keep. Before the cotton became an adult, he really destroyed it. So it's not here when he became a god. So the Gemara, 1 second. You want to tell me Yerushalayim? You say it has to be the giving and the extracting together as an adult. Just say that he ate it, he destroyed it when he became an adult. I don't care if he gave it to him as an adult. He could have given it to him when he was 3 years old. But if when he became 13, then he ate it, then you're chayav. Normally you're right. That's really all you need. Once the shomer destroy the item, if the guy is an adult, you chayav because it's an aveda. Don't bring a ride from aveda. Aveda ka'asim yikach b'das. Halayasim yikach b'das. Aveda, you're right. Nobody gave it to him. But at the end of the day, it's coming from b'das. There is an owner. The owner is an adult. The adult lost the item. Yes, the adult did not give it to him, but he still is considered to be part of the transaction. It came from an adult that lost it, he picked it up. But when you're talking about a cotton that is in a possession of a child, it left the possession of a child. So even though the guy became an adult, but he never, when it came to him, when it left his possession, when the guy found it, it was a cotton. So therefore, it didn't come out of possession of Ben Das. If you don't come out of possession of Das, it doesn't work.
What's that last thing?
If it doesn't come out of possession of Ben Das, so then you're not have. So more it's like this: if a person finds an avedo, even though he's a nice guy, If he said it's stolen, it has to be double. But if an item came to somebody from a child, so then there's no such thing, because he's not considered to be a bindas, he's not considered to be someone who is responsible for it. So he has to be coming out from the possession of a bindas. It's called mikoyach bindas. We'll stop over here. Is Hashem. We'll learn Shabbos at 8 a.m. and there'll be a recording of the Shir of Shabbos after Shabbos. Be'ez Hashem, Kol Tov, good Shabbos, good to see everybody.